थोड़ा सा मैं इसको बड़ा करके शेयर करता हूँ। इसमें सर हम यहाँ से अभी हम पढ़ेंगे। आप पिछले सत्र में नहीं थे तो एक छोटा सा डिस्कशन हुआ था। अ, तो उसमें हम आपके भी विचार जानना चाह रहे हैं कि एसपी सर ने एक कॉन्टेम्पलेशन के बाद एक प्रश्न उठाया था कि भगवान बुद्ध ने 4 नोबल ट्रुथ बताए और कौंडिन्यों ने जो उससे जाना वो ये जाना, यंग किंची समुद्रं धम्मं सब्बं तंग निरोधं धम्मं थी। तो कौंडिन्य ने बेसिकली वो 4 नोबल ट्रुथ सुन के अनित्य ता को जाना। तो हाउ इज इट लाइक कि 4 नोबल ट्रुथ से वो यहाँ तक कैसे पहुंचे, वो एक तरह से हम लोग ने डिस्कस किया था एंड वी वांटेड टू नो इफ यू कुड आल्सो पुट सम लाइट ओवर दैट।
Yes, Deepak, please go ahead.
सर एक्चुअली ये लिंक बताना तो बहुत मुश्किल है कि आई थिंक, क्योंकि धम्मचक्र सूत्र में तो आई थिंक बात सारी दुख से स्टार्ट होती है और दुख की मुक्त फ्रीडम फ्रॉम सफरिंग की बात होती है। मे बी सर, आई थिंक आई मे नॉट बी एबल टू एक्सप्लेन दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन।
You would only make a guess. You can't really definitively answer it, so you can make a guess.
So I think the one guess is that कि uh, ये सारी चीजें मतलब रिलेटेड है। ऐसा नहीं है कि uh, आपने एक को जान लिया तो दूसरे एटलीस्ट अनात्म को अगर छोड़ दें, दुख और अनीचा जो है, अगर आपने ये आर्य सत्य 4 नोबल ट्रुथ को समझ लिया तो जो उसका जैसे कॉइन का दूसरा पार्ट होता है, उसकी वही ये अनित्यता का सत्य है, तो वो अपने आप ही प्रकाशित हो जाएगा। प्रॉब्ली दैट इज माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग।
Mm, mm, mm. See, the people who were listening, Khandhaka वगैरह, they were not exposed to, I mean, they were not ignorant of the spiritual traditions of that time. Khandhaka was a great scholar, right? If you see, अगर हम पुरानी स्टोरी में जाएं तो कौंडिन्य was the only person amongst those various monks called by Shabdodana for predicting the future of the child, newborn child. तो बाकियों ने कहा था कि ये राजा बन सकते हैं या चक्रवर्ती सम्राट बन सकते हैं या बुद्ध बनेंगे. Kondanya was the one who said, no, no, there's no doubt he'll be the enlightened one. So, and he was an astrologer and a great scholar of the contemporary teachings. He was one of his teachers of the prince. So, obviously, he was aware of the basic teachings which reflected on भारतीय परंपरा में अनित्य बोध तो एक फंडामेंटल चीज हर जगह आती है कि हमारे सारे अनुभव अनित्य हैं. और जब भगवान ने कहा संकेत पंच उपादान खंडा दुख, तो 5 खंड दुख के उनके प्रति अटैचमेंट दुख है. सो थ्रू द contemplation on tanha, he could see that these are impermanent. So these arise and pass away. खंड जो है वो तो arise हो तो pass हो, वो तो मालूम ही है ना, पैदा होते हैं और मर जाएंगे. In a very broad sense, we can easily understand that. So this, because this is the understanding which leads to this. Traditionally, it is said Sotapatti Phala, which means कि सक्काय दिट्ठी को उन्होंने देख लिया कि इसमें कोई सत्य नहीं है. Is a wrong view, which means 5 khandhas are not me, not mine. And why they are not me, not mine? They are changing continuously. So you could relate it to that, and therefore the suffering being associated with 5 khandhas, 5 खंडों के साथ दुख, उसके साथ आसक्ति दुख का कारण है. तो एक बार जब उन्होंने देख लिया कि ये तो अनित्य है यार, उससे आसक्ति क्या करनी है, and naturally, in a very deep sense, dropped it. That's what we have been trying all along, seeing the 5 khandhas and looking at them in various ways, so that you can see impermanence, suffering inherent in them. Basically, दुख वो तो आ ही जाएगा ना अगर आप ये समझेंगे कि संकेतेन पंच उपादान खंडा दुख, ये सुनेंगे तो दुख वो तो स्पष्ट हो जाएगा. And from there you can work out the rewards also and the next also. उससे आप अनित्य बोध भी वर्कआउट कर सकते हैं और उससे आत्म बोध वर्कआउट कर सकते हैं. That's how I understand. It's a guess, obviously.
Sir, a related question, not question, but an observation that one can then make is that the concept of the 5 khandhas was already there in some sense.
Yeah, but this must have been there. In the Upanishads, we don't find khandhas, we find 5 sheets. 5 कोशों की बात होती है उसमें, which can be mapped to some extent, not fully, which can be mapped to some extent with 5 khandhas. There are research papers available in which people have tried to do some kind of mapping. It's not successful because it's not 1:1. But yeah, you can see it. Annamaya Kosh is Rupa and so on. Manomaya Kosh, Vijnanmaya Kosh, Anandamaya Kosh. You can relate them to the 5 khandhas in some way. So
ये कहाँ पर mentioned है?
जी,
Where are these mentioned?
these 5 पुरुषों की बात तो हमारे वेदांत में inherent. It's all there in Vedanta.
Okay.
We analyze the human being as 5 panchakosha. And later on he says, Adi Shankara says, I am not the 5 khandhas, the 5 koshas. So when he says, Mano Buddhi Ahankara Chitta Nina, so there it includes, I am not the 5 koshas. So this is a part of the Vedic tradition, or Upanishadic traditions, I should say. Yeah.
Right.
उसी 5 कोशों को ही रिफाइन करके भगवान ने put it very explicitly, put it in terms of 5 khandhas.
Thank you very much.
सर थोड़ा एकेडमिकली आई थिंक कि ये जो आपने बोला कि कौंडिन्य ने प्रेडिक्ट नहीं किया, कौंडिन्य ने असित थे शायद वो, क्योंकि उन्होंने कहा था कि ये बालक बनेगा लेकिन तब तक मैं जीवित ही नहीं रहूंगा.
Kondanya is also out of the other saints who had come before Asit. असित से पहले उन्होंने बुलाए थे ना बाकी जो रॉयल एस्ट्रोलॉजर्स थे, उन सब के अलग अलग ने कहा था कि ये दोनों में से बन सकता है. बट कौंडिन्य had said, no, in my opinion, he will be the enlightened one, which was then later confirmed by Asita.
Okay, sir.
This is the kind of story. If you see the high version of it, 5 की जो भगवान बुद्ध की फिल्म बनी है ना 5 घंटे की, आपको देखी होगी शायद.
हाँ, yes sir.
उसमें ये बात साफ स्पष्ट आती है.
Okay, sir. राइट। और एक और हम लोगों ने प्रश्न डिस्कस कर रहे थे, अगर वो भी आप समझ पाए, वो भी एकेडमिकली है कि धम्मपवर्तन सूत्र सुनने के बाद Konaiya was the first one to probably enter stream entry. We were discussing कि अरहंत बनने की stream entry. Then I remember कि अनंतलक्कड़ सूत्र बनने के सुनने के बाद दूसरा सूत्र जो था, तब जाके वो पांचों पंचवज्ञ भिक्खु जो थे वो अरहंत बन गए थे। तो हम ये जानना चाह रहे हैं कि कौंडिन्य ने जो ये सुना और भगवान बुद्ध ने बोला कि विरजम वीत मलन, तो इस समय कौंडिन्य की स्थिति क्या थी और पंचवज्ञ भिक्खु में बाकी चारों की स्थिति क्या थी? क्या ये सबसे पहले स्ट्रीम एंटरर थे और बाकी लोग उसके पीछे बने इस सूत्र के समाप्त होने के बाद?
नहीं, इसके बाद अगर एक सूत्र है जिसमें एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया गया, इसके बाद इसके इस सूत्र के बीच में और अनंतरत्न सूत्र के बीच में क्या हुआ, वो एक सूत्र है, मुझे नाम ठीक से याद नहीं आ रहा, maybe is it I don't know, I don't want to make a guess, जिसमें वो बताते हैं कि इसके बाद हम लोग जो है बाकी सभी भिक्षुओं को मैंने साधना कराई और हम 6 लोग थे, अब 6 में से एक जाके भोजन लेके आता था, बाकी लोग साधना करते थे, and this way we practiced till all of them became stream entrants, and then this discourse was given. Then Anatharatthana Sutta was delivered, and then all of them became enlightened, fully enlightened.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
जस्ट प्योरली एकेडमिक क्वेश्चन, ये दोनों सूत्रों के बीच में कितना टाइम का गैप था, कुछ अप्रोक्सीमेट मेंशन है?
I don't know. Few weeks, I don't know exactly.
Few weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not very long. Few weeks only.
No, I think just a week or 2 weeks or something of that kind.
यस सर, ऐसे सूत्र भी है ना कि शुरू में 5 थे, फिर वो यश आए और यश और उनके साथ 100 और लोग आए, तो उन्होंने बोला अब संसार में 105 अरहंत थे।
वो तो बात की बात है, that is later. ये 5
initially
and then yes, the householder came and he became a monk and he became a arahant. Then his friends came in searching for him. Then his friends also reluctantly sat and listened to this course, and then they also became. That's how the sangha spread.
राइट सर, शुरू में तो वो नंबर देते हैं शायद किसी सूत्र में कि अब संसार में 5 थे, अब संसार में 105 हो गए, अब संसार में, ऐसे करके शुरू में नंबर्स भी देते हैं कितने अरहंत बन गए।
Yeah.
इधर से हम आगे पढ़ेंगे प्रवृत्ति से। तो दीपक जी, द लास्ट टाइम फॉर्मेट वाज कि मैं पाली पढ़ता जा रहा था और रेंदर जी इंग्लिश पढ़ते जा रहे थे, जो भी स्क्रीन पर आ रहा है वहां तक। तो आप इंग्लिश पढ़ दीजिएगा, मैं पाली पढ़ देता हूँ। प्रवृत्ते चापन भगवता धम्मचक्रे धूमादेवा सतम अनुसावेशुं एतं भगवता वाराणसीयं इसिपतने मृगदाये अनुत्तरं धम्मचक्रं पववित्तं अपटिवत्यं समणेन वा ब्राह्मणेन वा देवेन वा मारेण वा ब्रह्मणा वा केनचिवा लोकस्मिन्ति भूमानं देवानं सद्दं सुत्वा चातु महाराजिका देवा सद्दम् अनुसावेशुं पे चातु महाराजिकानां देवानं सद्दं सुत्वा तावतीं सा देवा पे यामा देवा पे तुषिता देवा पे निम्मा निरति देवा पे। Over to you, Deepak ji.
When the Buddha had set the wheel of the teaching, the earth gods cried out. At Banaras, in the deer park at Isipatan, the Buddha had set rolling the supreme wheel of the teaching. It can't be stopped by any monastic, Brahmin, god, lord of death, supreme being, or anyone in the world. Hearing the earth gods, the gods of the four great kings cried out. Hearing the gods of four great kings, the gods of 33 cried out. The Yama gods, the contented gods, the god who delight in creation.
करनिमित्त वसिवत्ति देवापे ब्रह्मकायिका देवा सद्मनुस्सा वेशुं एतं भगवता वाराणसीयं इसिपतने निजदाये अनुत्तरं धम्मचक्रं प्रवर्तितं अपटिवत्तियं समणेन वा ब्राह्मणेन वा देवेन वा मारेण वा ब्रह्मणा वा केनचिवा लोकस्मिन् ते इति हि ते खडेन तेन लयेन तेन मुहूर्तेन याव ब्रह्मलोका सद्यो अभुगच्छि अयं च दशसहस्रलोकधातु संकप्पि संप्रकम्पि संपवेदी अपमाणो च उलारो ओभासो लोके पातुर्होषि अतिक्तम देवानं देवानुभावम्
Gods of the gods who control the creation of others, the gods of the realm of the supreme beings cried out. At Banaras, in the deer park at Isipatan, the Buddha had set the ruling, the supreme wheel of teaching. It can't be stopped by any monastic, Brahmin, god, lord of death, supreme being, or anyone in the world. In that instant, the news spread as far as the world of the supreme beings. 10,000 solar system shook and trembled. And there appeared in the world an immeasurable and glorious radiance surpassing the splendor of gods.
अतको भगवा इमं उदानं उदानेसि अय्यासिवत् वो कोण्डयो अय्यासिवत् भो कोण्डयोति इति हिदं आयस्वतो कोण्डयस्य अय्यासि कोण्डयो द्वैव नामं अहोसि अतको आयस्मा अय्यासि कोण्डयो दिट्ठधम्मो पत्रधम्मो विदितधम्मो परि योगालः धम्मो तिन्न विचिकित्सो विगत कथो वेसारज्जपत्तो अपरपच्चयो शत्रुशासने भगवन्तं एतद्वोच लभ्येयाहं भन्ते भगवतो सन्तिके पवज्जं लभ्येयं उपसम्पदन्ति एहि भिक्खूति भगवा अवोच स्वाखातो धम्मो चर ब्रह्मचर्यं सम्मा दुःखस्य किरियायाति.
Then the Buddha uttered a heartfelt exclamation. Kondanya has understood. Indeed, Kondanya has understood. That's how Kondanya got the name Anya Kondanya, Kondanya who has understood. Anyasi Kondanya had seen the truth, had reached, understood, and penetrated it, had gone beyond doubts and uncertainty, had attained to confidence, and had become independent of others in the teacher's instruction. He then said to the Buddha, "Sir, I wish to receive the going forth in your presence. I wish to receive the full ordination." The Buddha replied, "Come, monk. The teaching is well proclaimed. Practice the spiritual life to make a complete end of suffering."
अगर किसी को हिंदी अनुवाद भी चाहिए हो तो कृपया बता दें। लास्ट टाइम हमने इसी तरह से फॉलो किया था तो सावतस्य आयस्मतो उपसंपदा अहोसि अथ को भगवा तदवशेषे भिक्खु धम्मिया कथाय ओवधि अनुशासि अथ को आयस्मतो च वप्पस्य आयस्मतो च बद्धीयस्य भगवता धम्मिया कथाय ओवदीयमानानं अनुशास्यमानानं विरजं वीतमलं धम्मचक्षुं उदपादि यं किञ्चि समुदयधम्मं सब्बं तं निरोधधम्मन्ति ते दिट्ठधम्मा पत्तधम्मा विदितधम्मा परियोगानः धम्मा तीर्णविचिकित्सा विगत कथ तथा वेसारज्जपत्ता अपरपच्चया सत्तुशासने भगवन्तं एतद्वोचुं लभ्येयाममयं भन्ते भगवतो सन्तिके पवच्चं लभ्येयाम उपसम्पदन्ति।
That was the full ordination of the Venerable. The Buddha then instructed and taught the rest of the monks. And I think यही वो I think लाइन का रेफरेंस है जब हम शायद कह रहे हैं कि दो सुत के बीच में भगवान ने बाकी monks को भी टीचिंग सिखाई दी. While they were being instructed and taught, Venerable Vapa and Venerable Bhaddiya experienced the stainless vision of the truth. Anything that has beginning has an end. They had seen the truth, had reached, understood, and penetrated it. They had gone beyond doubt and uncertainty, had attained to confidence, and had become independent of others in teachers' instruction. They then said to the Buddha, Sir, we wish to receive the going forth in your presence. We wish to receive full ordination.
एक
मिनट निखिल एक मिनट ऊपर आएंगे क्या? इसका जो लास्ट पैराग्राफ था, they had seen the truth, had reached and understood and penetrated it. They have gone beyond doubt and uncertainty and have attained to confidence and have become independent of others in teachers' instruction. सर ये जो लाइन है कि had become independent of others in teachers' instruction,
जो श्रोतापन्न की कंडीशंस बताई जाती है ना, उसमें ये आती है सारी बातें. That he has full confidence in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and he has practiced in accordance with Dhamma, Dhamma Dhamma Patipada. और उसी भी conditions as in fetters. First fetter is Sakayadikti, second is Vichikiccha, which means doubt. Third is Sīdvata Paramasa, which is attachment to rites and conventions and so on. So once you have got confidence in the teaching, then all those things are out. And then really you are set to have entered the stream of liberation. उसी बात को दूसरे शब्दों में कहा जाता है. कई सत्यों में भगवान जो एक सुत्ते हैं, जिस तरह के अभिसमय सुत्ता संयुक्त निकाय में पूरा सेक्शन है, उसमें बार बार ये 3 कंडीशंस और उसके साथ अलग अलग चीजें जोड़ी जाती हैं. Unshaken confidence in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha plus something more. ये कई जगह लिखा गया है कि धम्मानुधम्म पटिपदा, कई जगह लिखा गया पटिच्चय समुत्पाद, एंड सिमिलरली अदर एस्पेक्ट्स. ये सरस अगर धम्मा क्लियर हो गया, उसको पूरी तरह कॉन्फिडेंस आ गया, अगर कोई पटिच्चय समुत्पाद को ठीक से समझ ले, नॉट इवन पेनिट्रेटेड फुल्ली, then he has confidence that this is how the law works. So that is seen as the entry into the stream of liberation. तो उसके बाद फिर आपको कोई डाउट नहीं रहेगा प्रैक्टिस के बारे में.
इससे इसको हम ये भी कह सकते हैं कि उस स्टेज पे आने के बाद जो मॉन्क है अब वो आगे अपनी इंडिपेंडेंट साधना भी कर सकता है. इज दैट द रेफरेंस के he'll still need the teachings from
The possibility is there, but very fact that they needed teaching is there. The teaching of anatta is usually quite difficult to penetrate without the help of a teacher.
yes, sir.
So even Sariputta had to, I mean, he was not directly instructed in this manner. He listened to the teaching being given by the Buddha to Khandhaka, somebody else. एक साक्यन आए थे उनसे प्रश्न कर रहे थे तो भगवान उसको शिक्षा दे रहे थे which led to which had a kind of a hint about the impersonal nature of phenomena. So सारिपुत्ता जो है भगवान को पंखा झेल रहे थे उनको वो we could catch that and become liberated there itself, fully liberated. So that was his arhanthal samadhi at that time. While Dheyanatha only became Sotapanna. So it's up to the penetrating power of the person also, depend on that also. But even then, it does need some instruction usually. And this one is really has great paramis.
Yes, sir.
And sir, this reminds me कि सारिपुत्र भिक्षुओं को इंस्ट्रक्शन देते थे और उनको स्टीम एंट्री तक छोड़ते थे और इससे आगे महामोगलायन जी उनको कैरी फॉरवर्ड करते थे, राइट?
Yeah, this is written in some sutras. Explicitly written.
और इसमें ये ट्रांसलेशन किसका इन्होंने कर दिया, हैड बिकम इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ अदर्स इन टीचर्स इंस्ट्रक्शन. मुझे लगता है ये ट्रांसलेशन सही नहीं बैठ रहा है. अपरिपच्यया सत्तु
Sattu
शासन.
Sasana. Yeah. It is परपच्य में दूसरे के ऊपर कंडीशनिंग नहीं, दूसरे की कंडीशन नहीं है. So it is roughly translated in this language.
या मतलब अदर ट्रेडिशंस टीचर्स का अभी वो इंडिपेंडेंट हो गए, ये लिखना चाहिए था.
Other
सत्तु
teachers की
शासन
बात
के अलावा है, उनसे इंडिपेंडेंट हो गए.
I don't know. It's up to how to translate it. We can't say. Parapachya means not dependent on others in Sattu Shasan, in teaching of Buddha. So it depends on how grammatically you interpret it. But Sattu Shasan है ना, Sattu Shasan में तो टीचर के टीचिंग में वो किसी और पे डिपेंडेंट नहीं है. Which means they've got confidence in the teaching. So one can say that other than the Shastra, other than the teacher, other than the Buddha, he doesn't need anything else. You need to put it like that also.
राइट सर, जैसे कहते हैं कि स्ट्रीम एंट्री के बाद 7 जन्म ही लगेंगे, अगर ज्यादा नहीं कर पाए जन्म में तो वो कैसे भी करके पहुंच ही जाएंगे.
Yeah, then it's presumed that he will be have a opportunity. उसके कर्म ऐसे होंगे कि उसको opportunity मिलेगी appropriate guidance. ऐसा नहीं कि वो अपने आप ही सब कुछ हो जाएगा. I mean, it's anybody's guess. There's no laid out statement to that effect. But entry into stream means one has great good parties of that kind. And these good parties would carry him further. आदमी का अपना रोल है, अच्छे कर्मों का रोल है ये.
यस. दीपक जी आप ट्रांसलेट कर दीजिए.
Mm. I think मैंने कर दिया था. Now I think you were starting to read.
यहाँ से अपन को करना चाहिए डबल रिप्लाइड. हाँ ये, हाँ ये मैं पढ़ देता हूँ, चलिए मैं पढ़ देता हूँ. एतभिक्खवोति भगवा अवोच स्वाखातो धम्मो चरथ ब्रह्मचर्यं सम्मा दुःखस्य अन्त्यक्रियायाति सावते सं आयसमन्तानं उपसम्पदा अहोसि अथ को भगवा तदवशेषे भिक्खु निहार भक्तो धम्मिया कथाय ओवदि अनुशासि यं तयो भिक्खु पिण्डाय चरित्वा आहरन्ति तेन छब्बको यापेति अथ को आयस्मतो च महानामस्य आयस्मतो च असज्जिस्य भगवता धम्मिया कथाय ओवदीयमानानं अनुशास्यमानानं निर्जन्वीतमलं धम्मचक्षुं उदपादि यं किञ्चि समुदयं धम्मं सब्बं तं निरोधधम्मन्ति.
The Buddha replied, "Come, monks. The teaching is well proclaimed. Practice the spiritual life to make a complete end of suffering." That was the full ordination of those venerables. Living on the food brought to him, the Buddha then instructed and taught the remaining monks. 6 of them lived on the alms food brought by the 3. While they were being instructed and taught, Venerable Mahanama and Venerable Asaji experienced the stainless vision of the truth. Anything that has a beginning has an end.
ते दिट्ठ धम्मा पत्त धम्मा विदित धम्मा परियोगालह धम्मा तिण्य विचिकिच्छा विगत कथं कथा वेसारज्य पत्ता अपरपच्च या सत्थु शासने भगवन्तं एतद्वोचुं लभ्येयाममयं भन्ते भगवतो सन्तिके पवच्चं लभ्येयाम उपसम्पदन्ति एतभिक्खवोति भगवा अवोच स्वाखातो धम्मो चरथ ब्रह्मचर्यं सम्मा दुःखस्य अन्त्यक्रियायाति सावते सं आयस्यमन्तानं उपसम्पदा अहोसि अथ को भगवा पञ्चवग्र्ये भिक्खु आमन्तेसि रूपं भिक्खवे अनत्ता.
They had seen the truth, had reached and understood and penetrated it. They had gone beyond doubt and uncertainty, had attained to confidence, and had become independent of others in teachers' instruction. They then said to the Buddha, "Sir, we wish to receive the going forth in your presence. We wish to receive the full ordination." The Buddha replied, "Come, monks. The teaching is well proclaimed. Practice the spiritual life to make complete end of suffering." That was the full ordination of those venerables. Then the Buddha addressed the group of 5. Form is not your essence.
रूपं च हिदं भिक्खवे अत्ता अभविष्य नैदं रूपङ्गाबाधाय संवत्तेय लभ्येत च रूपे एवं मे रूपं होतु एवं मे रूपं मा अहोसीति यस्माच्चाको भिक्खवे रूपं अनत्ता तस्मा रूपङ्गाबाधाय संवत्तति न च लभति रूपे एवं मे रूपं होतु एवं मे रूपं मा अहोसीति. वेदना अनत्ता वेदना चाहिदं भिक्खवे अत्ता अभविष्य नैदं वेदना आबाधाय संबद्धेय लभ्येत च वेदनाय एवं मे वेदना होतु एवं मे वेदना मा अहोसीति यस्मात् चाको भिक्खवे वेदना अनत्ता तस्मा वेदना आबाधाय संवर्तति न च लभ्यति वेदनाय एवं मे वेदना होतु एवं मे वेदना मा अहोसीति।
एक लाइन ऊपर कर देंगे। Feeling is not your essence. Sorry,
ये
not
फॉर्म
form is not your essence. For if form were your essence, it would not lead to suffering, and you could make it be. For if form were your essence, it would not lead to suffering, and you could make it be like this and not like that. But because the form is not your essence, it leads to suffering, and you can't make it be like this or not be like that.
यहाँ से आगे पढ़ता हूँ। वेदना अनत्ता वेदना चाहिदं भिक्खवे अत्ता अभविष्य नैदं वेदना आबाधाय संवर्तेय लभ्येत च वेदनाय एवं मे वेदना होतु एवं मे वेदना मा अहोसीति यस्मात् चको भिक्खवे वेदना अनत्ता तस्मा वेदना आबाधाय संवर्तति न च लभ्यति वेदनाय एवं मे वेदना होतु एवं मे वेदना मा अहोसीति। इस खंड को भी पढ़ दीजिए, खंड बाई खंड पढ़ लेते हैं।
Feeling is not your essence, for if feeling were your essence, it would not lead to suffering, and you could make it be like this and not be like that. But because feeling is not your essence, it leads to suffering, and you can't make it be like this and not be like that.
संज्ञा अनत्ता संज्ञा चाहिदं भिक्खवे अत्ता अभविष्य नैदं संज्ञा आबाधाय संबद्धेय लभ्येत च संज्ञाय एवं मे संज्ञा होतु एवं मे संज्ञा मा अहोसीति यस्मात् चको भिक्खवे संज्ञा अनत्ता तस्मा संज्ञा आबाधाय संवर्तति न च लभ्यति संज्ञाय एवं मे संज्ञा होतु एवं मे संज्ञा मा अहोसीति।
Perception is not your essence. For if perception were your essence, it would not lead to suffering, and you could make it be like this and not be like that. But because perception is not your essence, it leads to suffering, and you can't make it be like that and not be like that.
संखारा अनत्ता संखारा चाहिदं भिक्खवे अत्ता अभविष्युं नैदं संखारा आबाधाय संबद्धेयुं लभ्येत च संखारेषु एवं मे संखारा होन्तु एवं मे संखारा मा अहेसुन्ति यस्मात् चको भिक्खवे संखारा अनत्ता संखारा तस्मा संखार आबाधाय संवर्तन्ति न च लभ्यति संखारेषु एवं मे संखारा होन्तु एवं मे संखारा मा अहेसुन्ति।
Intentional activities are not your essence, for if intentional activities were your essence, they would not lead to suffering, and you could make them be like this and not be like that. But because intentional activities are not your essence, they lead to suffering, and you can't make them be like this and not be like that.
विज्ञानं अनत्ता विज्ञानं च हिदं भिक्खवे अत्ता अभविष्य नैदं विज्ञानं आबाधाय संबद्धेय लभ्येत च विज्ञाने एवं मे विज्ञानं होतु एवं मे विज्ञानं मा अहोसीति यस्माच्च को भिक्खवे विज्ञानं अनत्ता तस्मा विज्ञानं आबाधाय संबद्धति न च लभ्यति विज्ञाने एवं मे विज्ञानं होतु एवं मे विज्ञानं मा अहोसीति
Consciousness is not your essence, for if consciousness were your essence, it would not lead to suffering, and you could make it be like this and not be like that. But because consciousness is not your essence, it leads to suffering, and you can't make it be like this and not be like that.
तं किं भिक्खवे रूपं नित्यं वा अनित्यं वाति अनित्यं भन्ते यं पन् अनित्यं दुःखं वा तं सुखं वाति दुःखं भन्ते यं पन् अनित्यं दुःखं विपरिणामधम्मं कल्लं नूतं समनुपस्थितुम् एतं मम एषोऽहमस्मि एषो मे अत्ताति नो हेतं भन्ते
So I think ऐसा लगता है कि शुरू ऊपर वाले सेक्शंस में भगवान ने जिसे समझाया एंड नाउ भगवान इज लीडिंग देम टूवर्ड्स the next step by asking them questions, and they are like responding from their heart, their understanding, and Bhagwan is leading them towards full liberation. What do you think, monks? Is form permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, sir. What is impermanent, suffering or happiness? Suffering. And that which is impermanent and suffering and changeable by nature, is it proper to regard it like this? This is mine, I am this is my essence. Definitely not.
वेदना निच्चा वा अनिच्चाति अनिच्चा भन्ते यं पन अनिच्चं दुःखं वातं सुखं वाति दुःखं भन्ते यं पन अनिच्चं दुःखं विपरिणामधम्मं कल्लं नूतं समनुपस्थितुम् एतं मम एषोऽहमस्मि एषो मे अत्ताति नो हेतं भन्ते
What do you think? Is feeling permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. Is what is impermanent suffering or happiness? Suffering. And that which is impermanent, suffering, and changeable by nature, is it proper to regard it like this? This is mine, I am this is my essence? Definitely not.
संज्ञानिच्छा वा अनिच्छा वाति अनिच्छा भन्ते यं पन अनिच्छं दुःखं वातं सुखं वाति दुःखं भन्ते यं पन अनिच्छं दुःखं विपरिणामधम्मं कल्लं नूतं समनुपस्थितुम् एतं मम एषोऽहमस्मि एषो मे अत्ताति नो हेतं भन्ते
What do you think? Is perception permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. Is what is impermanent suffering or happiness? Suffering. And that which is impermanent, suffering, and changeable by nature, is it proper to regard it like this? This is mine, I am this is my essence? Definitely not.
संखारा निच्चा वा अनिच्चा वाति अनिच्चा भन्ते यं पन अनिच्छं दुःखं वातं सुखं वाति दुःखं भन्ते यं पन अनिच्छं दुःखं विपरिणामधम्मं कल्लं नूतं समनुपस्थितुम् एतं मम एषोऽहमस्मि एषो मे अत्ताति नो हेतं भन्ते
What do you think? Are intentional activities permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. Is what is impermanent suffering or happiness? Suffering. And that which is impermanent, suffering, and changeable by nature, is it proper to regard this is mine, I am this is my essence? Definitely not.
सर इसको मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ तो समाउ ये संज्ञा संखारा को लेकर तो एक हम बचपन में रामचरितमानस में पढ़ते थे। तो एक चौपाई हुई है वही जो राम रचि राखा, वो करी तरक बढ़ावे शाखा। तो वो मुझे समाउ लग रहा है क्योंकि उसमें कंटेक्स्ट था कि जो सती थी वो रामचंद्र जी की परीक्षा लेना चाह रही है और शंकर जी उनको मना कर रहे हैं कि आप सीता का रूप रखकर उनके सामने मत जाओ। तो वही बात होगी ना कि सती को भी समझ ही नहीं है, तो शंकर जी समझ गए कि इनका परसेप्शन और संसार मेरे बस में नहीं है। तो उन्होंने यही बोला कि अभी जो होना है वो होगा। राइट, सो इसी को शायद हम बोलते हैं कि लीला है। जस्ट आई एम रीडिंग इट, आई एम जस्ट गेटिंग दैट थॉट। बिकॉज एक तो हमें ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है, जैसे गिरमानंद सूत्र में है कि आप कौन सी संज्ञा बन रहे हैं, या तो हम खुद को ट्रेन कर लें और नहीं तो फिर जो भी कंडीशन संज्ञा है वो तो आती रहेगी, अपने आप से हम समझते रहेंगे। शायद इसलिए संज्ञा हमारी नहीं है। इफ somebody can train us what should be the right संज्ञा, then that is probably better.
You see the origin. पढ़ा था तो ओरिजिन क्या है, संज्ञा का ओरिजिन क्या है? हस कॉन्टैक्ट, एंड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ कॉन्टैक्ट जो प्रेजेंट होता है उसको हम अच्छा मान लें। वी काइंड ऑफ conflate pleasant with good, unpleasant with bad, and that's where like, problems begin to arise. प्रज्ञा के न होने के कारण बाहर के वातावरण से, बाहर के इन्फ्लुएंस से संज्ञा हमारी कंडीशन हो जाती है और वो बदलती रहती है। आज किसी को अच्छा मानेंगे, कल किसी को बुरा मानेंगे, फिर परसों उसको फिर अच्छा मानने लगेंगे। दिस काइंड ऑफ चेंजेस कीप ऑन हैपनिंग, just they've carried over in the stream of consciousness. This phenomena is carried over from life to life. So in that sense, it is said to be conditioned. And obviously, by association with right people, we get one kind of sangha. With association with another set of people, we get another kind of sangha. So it's all conditioned by the circumstances, by situations, by influences, by the friendship, by the kind of teachers we get, by the kind of family we are born in. All these things influence our sangha. कंडीशन का मतलब होता है कि सर्कमस्टांसेस से कंडीशन हो रही है।
राइट सर। यस सर। विज्ञानं नित्यं वा अनित्यं वाति अनित्यं भन्ते यं पन अनित्यं दुःखं वातं सुखं वाति दुःखं भन्ते यं पन अनित्यं दुःखं विपरिणामधम्मं कलं नूतं समनुपस्थितुम् एतं मम एषोऽहमस्मि एषो मे अत्ताति नो हेतं भन्ते।
What do you think? Is consciousness permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. Is what is impermanent suffering or happiness? Suffering. And that which is impermanent, suffering, and changeable by nature, is it proper to regard it like this? This is mine, I am this is my essence? Definitely not.
तस्मातिह भिक्खवे यं किञ्च रूप अतीत अनागत पच्चुपन्नं अच्छत्तं वा बहिद्धा वा ओलारिकं वा सुकुमं वा हीनं वा पणितं वा यं दूरे सन्तिके वा सभं रूपं नेतं मम नेषोऽहमस्मि नामेषो अत्थाति एवमेतं यथा भूतं समप्पय्याय दट्टभ्यम्।
Whatever the form there is, whether past, present, or future, intentional or external, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, it would all be seen with right wisdom according to reality. This is not mine. I am not this. This is not my essence.
या काचि वेदना अतीतानागतपच्युपन्ना अझत्थं वा वहिद्धा वा ओलारिका वा सुखमा वा हीना वा पणिता वा या दूरे सन्ति के वा सब्बा वेदना नेतं मम नेसोऽहमस्मि नामेषो अत्ताति एवमेतं यथा भूतं समप्पय्याय दट्टभम्.
Whatever feeling there is, whether past, present, or future, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, it should all be seen with right wisdom according to reality. This is not mine. I am not this. This is not my essence.
या काचि संज्ञा अतीतानागतपच्युपन्ना अझत्तं वा बहिद्धा वा ओलारिका वा सुखमा वा हीना वा पणिता वा या दूरे सन्ति के वा सब्बा संज्ञा नेतं मम नेसोऽहमस्मि नामेषो अत्ताति एवमेतं यथा भूतं समप्पय्याय दट्टभम्.
Whatever perception there is, whether past, present, or future, internal or gross, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, they should all be seen with right wisdom according to reality. This is not mine. I am not this. This is not my essence.
ये केचि संखारा अतीतानागतपच्युपन्ना अझत्तं वा बहिद्धा वा ओलारिका वा सुखमा वा हीना वा पणिता वा ये दूरे सन्ति के वा सब्बे संखारा नेतं मम नेसोऽहमस्मि नामेषोऽत्ताति एवमेतं यथा भूतं समप्पय्याय दट्टभम्.
Whatever intentional activities there are, whether past, present, or future, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, they should all be seen with right wisdom according to reality. This is not mine. I am not this. This is not my essence.
यं किञ्चि विज्ञानं अतीतनागतपच्युपन्नं अझत्तं वा वहिद्धा वा ओलारिकं वा सुकुमं वा हीनं वा पणितं वा यं दूरे सन्ति के वा सब्बं विज्ञानं नेतं मम नेसोऽहमस्मि नामेषो अत्ताति एवमेतं यथा भूतं समप्पय्याय दट्टभम्.
Whatever consciousness there is, whether past, present, or future, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, it should all be seen with right wisdom according to reality. This is not mine. I am not this. This is not my essence.
एवं पश्य भिक्खवे श्रुत्वा अर्यसावको रूपस्मिन् अपि निब्बिन्दति वेदनायपि निब्बिन्दति संज्ञायपि निब्बिन्दति संखारेषुऽपि निब्बिन्दति विज्ञानस्मिन् अपि निब्बिन्दति निब्बिद्धं विरज्यति विरागा विमुच्यति विमुक्तमस्मिन् विमुक्तमिति यानं होति क्षीणा जाति भूषितं ब्रह्मचर्यं कथं करणीयं नापरं इत्थत्तायाति पजानातीति इदं वोच भगवा आत्मना पच्चवज्ञया भिक्खु भगवतो भासितं अभिनन्दिन्ति इमस्मिन् च पन्वैयाकरणस्मिन् भयमाने पञ्चवज्ञेयानं भिक्खु अनुपादाय आसवेहि विमुञ्चिन्सु तेन कोपनिशमयेन छालोके अर्हन्तो होन्ति पंचवज्ञकथा नित्थिता.
A learned noble disciple who sees this is repelled by form, repelled by feeling, repelled by perception, repelled by intentional activities, and repelled by consciousness. Being repelled, they become desireless. Because they are desireless, they are freed. When they are freed, they know they are freed. They understand the birth has come to an end and the spiritual life has been fulfilled, that the job has been done, and that there is no future state of existence. This is what the Buddha said. The monks from the group of five were pleased and they rejoiced in Buddha's exposition. And while this exposition was being spoken to the monks from the five group of, uh, and while the exposition was being spoken to the monks from the group of five, their minds were freed and freed from corruption through the letting go. Then there were six perfected ones in the world. The first section for recitation is finished. सर इसमें जो एक दो लाइन ऊपर करेंगे निकल जी
एक हाँ
थोड़ा सा हाँ सर ये जो बीइंग रिपेल्ड दे बिकम डिजायरलेस ये आई थिंक repelled is in the sense that there is no delight and there is no attachment and that's the reference, sir.
Yeah. Nirvana actually is disenchanted.
Disenchanted.
We are enchanted by the world. Person sees through the dangers of enchantment and drops that. That is a kind of a set pattern of, from that point onwards, liberation is assured. Once we are able to see through the enchantment of the world, then Krishna cannot hold us. Krishna is actually enchantment. If you see the second noble truth की जो definition भगवान देते हैं उसमें यही शब्द यूज करते नंदी राग सहगता तत्र तत्राभिनंदनी जहाँ पे राग है जहाँ पे प्रसन्नता है जिसमें मजा आता है उस तरफ जो हमें खींच के चला जाता है कभी यहाँ कभी वहाँ so we are always seeking delight somewhere here or there. That is what is the cause of suffering. So once we have seen that there is no delight, our enchantment is gone, then there is freedom, then you are not bound by anything. हमको लगता है जब तक हम कुछ चाहते हैं तब तक एक बॉन्डेज रहती है कितनी भी सटल हो बॉन्डेज रहती है जब चाहना बंद हो जाता है तो बॉन्डेज इज फिनिश्ड So that's the in most sutras this is the sequence in which by yathabhuti jnana darshanam would lead to ultimately this. Nibbida will lead to dispassion and dispassion will lead to freedom.
यहाँ पे जो निविदा और डिस्पैशन की जो हम बात कर रहे हैं दैट इज इन द इवेंचुअल सेंस ऑफ फाइव खंडास बट इन आवर daily life sometimes I think some experiences happen that some particular habit one is able to overcome and that doesn't trouble that particular habit. Or to use another example, that there is a state where a child likes to play with toys and then when the child grows up he doesn't play with those toys. So that does these two examples also have some elements of nibbida?
Which my granddaughter today does not want Barbie dolls which she wanted 5 years ago. She still wanted. In fact, my father brought it from US. He had gone for some work. He brought something resembling a Barbie doll. And my small kid, what have you done? Why have you brought? So she's gone, transcended that. So that's what is meant by transcendent. You've gone through, free from all that. No longer, that is no longer enchanting. What was enchanting few years back is no longer enchanting. Exactly same thing, yeah. There are many things which do not enchant us now, but still there are some things which hold us, which bind us. So you can see those things. That's what I meant always in our discussion. We take on prominent sankhara. That is the prominent sankhara. किस कौन हमको बांध के रख रहा है? उसको समझें, उसको investigate करें, and drop it. That's what our whole sadhana has been.
Yes, sir.
Sudhir, यहाँ पे विरज्यति को desireless translate किया है.
Yeah. It is the word is the dispassion and desireless are kind of near each other. वो अंग्रेजी में थोड़ी दिक्कत हो जाती है.
Because Raj normally means dhul. So Viraj means there is no deception.
Whether you call it passion or whether you call it desire,
Okay.
whether you call it desireless or dispassion is also the same basically.
The other interesting thing that I noticed was atta को यहाँ पे essence की तरह translate किया है.
जी.
Which is different from the normal translation of self.
Yeah. In Bhikkhu Brahmadi's translation, that is Bhikkhu Sujato's translation, and sometimes Bhikkhu Sumedo's translation. So they have their own preferred words they want to use. But in every case, the sense is of some immutable core, Atma. Basically, it is Atma. It is always refutation of the concept of Atma in the Vedantic scriptures, which existed at that time.
So one thing that slightly baffles me is that somebody like Shankaracharya, who understood all these things and had also Buddha's teachings available to him at that time, he continued to advocate Atman and
But his concept of Atman was quite different from the past concept of as belonging to an individual. It was as something which is impersonal and belongs to nature. But again, the identity with that was not given up. That's they tried to only reinterpret the Vedanta in another manner. But the concept of Atman and Brahman and they're the same, that they being core. So he accepted the authority of Vedas. Buddha didn't accept it. So that's the difference, where the difference lies.
Okay. Yeah, otherwise, much of the stuff is common.
Yeah,
Except perhaps for Arya Satya. For Arya Satya की का शायद reference नहीं है वेदांत में.
Yeah, not in that sense. No. In implicitly it is that tanha is the cause of suffering is understood.
वो तो है.
Yeah. So that's why the Adi Shankaracharya was called a crypto-Buddhist by the traditional Vedantins who believed in devotion and dualism and things of that kind. So there was quite a bit of criticism of Adi Shankaracharya. Later also, Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya, they dismissed it all. They brought back in their own view, the original idea of Vedanta in terms of God and seeker and thought and so on. So that kind of difference of understanding remains even till now.
जी.
Good, thank you. Thank you, Nikhil and Deepak. So maybe
सर
we
क्लोजिंग चैंट्स आप ही कर दीजिए.
Bhavatu Sarvamangalam Rakhantu Sarvadevata Sarvabhavena Saraswati Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sarvamangalam Rakhantu Sarvadevata Sarvabhavena Saraswati Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sarvamangalam Rakhantu Sarvadevata Sarvasanghānupadana Saraswati Bhavantu Te Araham Sammasambuddho Mahaviva Buddhaṃ Bhagavantaṃ Abhivade Sakato Bhagavatāṃ Dhammam Supatipanno Bhagavatu Sāvaka Sangho Sanghaṃ. Thank you very much. And best wishes on the Festival of Lights. And our internals also be illumined with the wisdom of Panya. And someday we may also say Panya Utpadi, Pinya Utpadi, Sadhuko Utpadi. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy Deepavali to everyone.
Thank you so much, sir.
Session खत्म हो गया.